Hello, my friends. Welcome to episode 100 of Relab Life, we used to call it, but I guess I'm not too fussed about it anymore because we've been doing a lot of tactical contents like this. I just wanted to say thank you for all of you who's been following us and enjoying our content as well, and sharing it to your friends and subscribing. It means the world to me. Hopefully the things that we put out here in terms of the content and the type of videos and the knowledge that we share around, hopefully it's been helpful for your career, whether you're studying or you're just learning or wanting to upskill or working in your career. So I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot, and we're going to try and continue to do this frequently and as consistently as possible. Let us know if you've got other questions, ideas, or anything like that that you'd like us to focus on or create a content on for you. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk to you about a question that is so ambiguous sometimes, which is what happens after the design sprint. So it's great that you've spent that 4, 5, 3 days or whatever, whichever version that you go with. It's great that you did all of that. You did the user testing, you did the prototyping, you've compiled all of the user test notes, and then now what, right? So there's a lot of questions around that. I just wanted to explain to you how I see this, and this is an information that I grabbed from Google themselves when they came into Melbourne, Australia, and then we shared a stage on the Design Sprinters Melbourne convention. So I'm going to share this with you right now. So the idea here is there's no failure in whatever you do in a design sprint. I'll explain to you why, but the no failure mindset is quite important. And that's something that usually I would already explain to the different team members, the stakeholders, or generally the people who would like to know about it or are investing in the process itself. But the process itself in a design sprint is there's almost no failure about it. And why is that so? Well, if you imagine, I'll start with an example of 3 different shapes here. So we've got a square, a square, a circle, and let's say a diamond. So these 3 different shapes are not aligned with each other. And in a design sprint process, what you're looking for really is an alignment, right? And so our job as a facilitator or as design sprint team members is to align vision, is to align mindsets, is to align ideas, that you come up with a prototype that is worth testing and you learn something out of it. So there are 3 scenarios that could happen out of a design sprint. The first one is an efficient failure. What does an efficient failure mean? Efficient failure means they don't like your product. Your users, the testers, don't like the idea at all, and you just find out honestly from your users that, that feature that you're proposing is already available somewhere. I'd rather use that app rather than yours. It's the hard truth, really, oftentimes. And that's what we call efficient failure, because otherwise you would fail later on down the track. Once you've built your product, uploaded to the App Store and all of that stuff, you spend so much more money and time doing all of it, only to find out that you failed. So fail efficiently is one of the mindset that you need to have when you get bad feedback or really just honest user feedback that says this is not right. Okay, so the second one is another scenario where we call it flawed success. So flawed success means you get a good feedback, but you get a bunch of negative feedbacks too. But somewhat, you still believe that the idea is worth pursuing, and you wanted to review, you wanted to iterate, you wanted to pivot a little bit, and that's what we call the flawed success, because you're getting hints that there's potential in your idea, and it's worth exploring further. That's what we call flawed success. And finally, the third alternative or scenario as to what happens after a design sprint is an epic win. An epic win means great feedback. Users love the feature. They see it being unique. They see it being special. Stakeholders see it being worth investing in further. And generally what happens there is you further roll out the work. You go into production confidently, and basically it's happy days. You move forward with confidence, which is really the great part of doing something like this, because if your idea is not right or not fit for the market, then you find out early. Or if it fits the market, then you move on with even greater confidence. Okay, so let me just change my marker color here. Efficient failure, the next steps from here is really to learn, and move on. When you're in a flawed success scenario, what you want to do is you review and iterate. And if it's an epic win for you, then first of all, congratulations, and it's great for you. Kudos. What you move into is rollout or production. So the difference is oftentimes people go into production straight away without doing an exercise like this. People would go into a production state straight away, but then only finding out the flaws after they spent a bunch of time, money, effort, and all that stuff. Okay? So now what that means is if you go through this process, then you're simply aligning those shapes right here into a further alignment, whether it goes from there to there, or ultimately everything's aligned, the stars are aligned, and the company moves with greater confidence. So those are the scenarios that happens after the design sprint. If you have any further questions or doubts or concerns, drop us a comment and I'll be sure to answer you. And I myself have been into these 3 different situations here where it was an efficient failure, a flawed success, or an epic win. Nevertheless, there's always something that the company learns, and it's not the process that has failed, but it's really the idea that has failed or has won. The process itself, there's almost no failure. And that's why I call it the no failure mindset, because it just works. All right, guys, once again, thank you so much, and I hope to see you in our next videos.